Cloud weighed in at 174.5 pounds on our unofficial scales. He added almost 10 pounds up to 184 pounds. Johnson weighed in at 173 on our unofficial scales. He rehydrated over the night, 19 pounds up to 192 pounds. Now we welcome in Max Kellerman to take a look at the light heavyweight division.
And here we go. Here are the belt holders, which means that among these fighters, maybe someone emerges to challenge the top fighters in the division. That's how it works in boxing now. Tavoris, glad you're about to see. Jean Pascal is going to fight Chad Dawson next week on HBO. Shumanov, the young Kazakh fighter, not bad. And Bramer, an amateur standout, once upon a time a little long in the tooth at this point. And here's the actual stars of the division. Chad Dawson, unanimously considered the #1 fighter in the division. The legend Bernard Hopkins still fights when the money's right. Glen Johnson, you're about to see against Cloud. And Jolt Erdai, who has a lineal claim to the title, but actually just won a belt at cruiserweight and has left the light heavyweight division.
Two guys that like to throw a lot of punches. Time for the introductions as we welcome in our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Scott Trade Center here in one of the great sports cities in the nation, St. Louis, Missouri, where tonight, Don King Promotions is proud to present Gateway to Greatness, The Homecoming. Sponsored by your undisputed king of beers, Budweiser. All bouts sanctioned by the Missouri Office of Athletics. This first bout is presented in association with DeBella Entertainment and Warriors Boxing. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this contest, should it go the distance, will be Fran Beechin, Mike Fitzgerald, and Patrick Morley. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, working for the 155th time in a world title bout, referee Double S, Steve Smoger. And now, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with red, official weight, 173 pounds. His professional record, 50 victories, including 34 knockouts with 13 defeats and 2 bouts even. By way of Jamaica now, living, training, and fighting out of Miami, Florida, the challenger, the legendary former light heavyweight world champion, Glen, the Road Warrior Johnson. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing tiger stripes, gold and black, officially weighing in at 174 1/2 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 20 fights, 20 victories, including 18 knockouts. From Tallahassee, Florida, the reigning, defending, undefeated IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, Tavoris Thunder.
Fighters, take your time. Come on, Al. Gentlemen, this bout is for the IBF. Yeah, baby. This bout is for the IBF Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Please, you were given your instructions, obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, touch them. Thank you.
Cloud roaring and Johnson looking over and smiling at us. Bob, in the 80s, you could flip on any of the broadcast networks, see a light heavy matchup just like this. What's Glen Johnson got left? What's Tavoris Cloud got, period? On paper, this is as good a candidate as any so far this year for Fight of the Year.
Well, styles make fights, and they have a very similar style. They like to throw a lot of punches. 6 first-round knockouts for Cloud in his career. Johnson with 8. Cloud coming off a 12-round decision win against Clinton Woods. Johnson off a 6-round stoppage of Yusuf Mack. Both guys will be busy and let their hands go. Glen Johnson, when we asked him about, his style, and he said, hey, look, I give the fans what they want. I expect to get hit. This is what I signed up for. This is my job. He said about the younger Cloud, who's similar to him, a guy that throws a lot of punches, looking for knockouts. I've been doing it longer. I'm more developed defensively. We'll see if he can capitalize on the wider punches.
That's been true so far in Cloud's career, but here we see Cloud showing a pretty good defense so far. He's not punching wide as he normally does, and just then Johnson got in a jab. And he's trying to remain defensively responsible here, it seems.
Guys working the jab. Good right hand from Cloud. Left hand to the body from Johnson. Counter right missed by Cloud.
I mean, look at these guys standing in a phone booth and throwing shots like they mean it.
Double left from Cloud, missed. Right hand to the elbow of Johnson.
First clinch of the fight, Cloud held Johnson.
Johnson says one of the reasons why he's been able to have longevity at 41 years of age and still be successful is on the inside. He's developed the fine art of creating proper angles so he doesn't get hit clean a lot.
And he always has a high guard with the elbows tucked, Glen Johnson. But his body looks a little soft, Bob. Softer than we're used to seeing Glen Johnson, especially when you compare it to Cloud, who's in obviously superb condition.
Johnson's only been stopped once. Got to go back to 1997 when Bernard Hopkins stopped him in the 11th round for the middleweight championship that Hopkins held.
Johnson was a better fighter in his 30s than he was in his 20s. And though he's not been quite as good recently as he was several years ago, still you have to consider him after he knocked out Youssef Mack, a top contender at light heavyweight.
And let's face it, Cloud has never been in against a guy this cagey, this experienced, with this kind of resume. This is the 433rd professional round for Glen Johnson. There's the bell to end round number 1 for Glen Johnson and Tavoris Cloud.
You know what I mean? You're laying in there. Don't wait to just with that roll, get your hands down.
You got it, baby.
Come on, you did good, but don't make these rounds close. Give me some Vaseline.
On my hand.
You hear me? Take the lead. You had him hurt when he backed to the ropes. You didn't even know it.
And moving. The only thing you got to watch out for the inside is his uppercut. All right? Don't pose. Just keep the head moving and come up with something. Don't come up empty-handed. All right? The jab is working, and you see where that body work makes him throw less punches. You're reducing his punching output because you're tapping the body. He's feeling it already.
We invite our live audience on the East Coast to log on to hbo.com/boxing and check out Punch Zone, which provides a breakdown of where each fighter punches are landing as they happen. Check it out. You'll see a lot of punches landing with Cloud and Johnson. 69 thrown punches according to CompuBox for Johnson. He hit on 22. Cloud 28 of 81.
Early on, Cloud may have the advantage with his superior athleticism. He's younger. He looks in better shape. He throws more punches so far, throwing more punches. But Johnson's high guard has frustrated younger fighters in the past. And later in fights, he can impose himself.
There, Johnson jabbed to the body, shot a right hand, didn't catch Cloud. Good jab, then a left hand to the body by Glen Johnson. Right hook to the body.
Cloud in his fight against Clinton Woods, who was a experienced fighter who was used to coming on late in fights. It was Cloud who showed great stamina late in that fight, going the full 12 rounds.
Johnson fought Woods 3 times dating back to 03. He's got a win, a loss, and a draw against him. Good left hand to body by Cloud. Double, triples up the left hook. Throws a right for good measure.
Very good work by Tavoris Cloud here. Johnson's not picking off a lot of those shots.
Counter right to the body by Cloud was a good one. Good right hand to the chin by Johnson.
Johnson showing his inside game there, throwing nice short, straight shots.
Well, this is where he felt he's going to win the fight, where he has the advantage.
Well, Cloud is the
Oh, good left hand after a right and a left to the stomach. Right hand to the chin on Cloud. Still over a minute to go here in the second round.
I think Cloud was hurt with a shot to the body, Bob.
That opened up the head shot.
And as you were mentioning, with the shorter punching, Johnson has the advantage on the inside with the straight short shots.
Good right hand after a jab, rocks back Cloud. Body language of Cloud has changed.
After it looked like Cloud started to take over physically, Johnson has really punished him over the second half of this round.
You know, it's punch placement. Johnson just knows where to throw him and how to make him land. Big second half of this round. Counter right and a good right hand from Cloud. Trying to answer back.
Comes right back. Some tremendous shots being landed by both guys.
Another right hand after a jab from Johnson. Cloud tries to come back.
Tavoris Cloud told us yesterday a fight is more than a job for him. It's like Armageddon.
Good right hand by Cloud, staggered Johnson. What a second round.
A little bit of Armageddon right there.
You're letting them steal around, okay? Breathe. Breathe. You're letting them steal around. Give me the water. Here. Drink. Wake your ass up. You got to throw punches in there, not one punch at a time.
Good work. Listen, the body work is paying off. The only thing is, when he starts getting off, smother his shots. Go into him. Don't just sit back, all right? Smother into him. Step into him so you smother his shots and he can't get off. Don't stay back. You're either all the way out.
Here's Glen Johnson, who turned the tide, starting with this straight right hand that caught Cloud. Maybe the punch power had dissipated a little by the time the right hand landed, but here is that straight left, kind of a hook almost to the body. It's really sort of out of Floyd Mayweather's book. You see Floyd throw those straight power shots to the body, left and right hands, that are not quite solar plexus shots, but really take the air out of opponents, and that's what Johnson just landed just then.
All right, let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob, what a goddamn fight this is. Unbelievable. One round apiece, 19-19, giving the first round to Tavoris Cloud and the second round to Glen Johnson. You know, if I were a fighter, Glen Johnson would frustrate the hell out of me, because you hit him with your Sunday punch, and not only is he still there, but he's beating the crap out of you. He just keeps coming back. I mean, he takes those Sunday punches and he just comes back and punches the other guy hard and frustrates him. I mean, Glen Johnson's really unbelievable for a guy his age. Both guys landing hard shots, no clinches at all. A great fight in the middle of the ring, 1-1 so far.
So Johnson, according to CompuBox, threw 90 punches in the second round. Max, he was 20 of 40, 50% with his jabs in that round, and that kind of set things up. The jab to the body, jab to the head. Now Cloud looking to come back.
Well, the story of this fight, is it going to be the youth of Cloud and the energy and the athleticism that goes along with the youth, or is it going to be the experience and the kind of frustrating high guard of Johnson? And one of the reasons this fight is so interesting on paper and it's panning out that way is it's tough to see how this story ends.
Johnson is just a pro. You know, he's just a real professional.
Very good.
Has he ever been the greatest at any point during his career? No. But he's the kind of guy that's given you, since we're in St. Louis and it's a big baseball town, he's the kind of guy that gives you 15 years and hits 285 and knocks.
And wins one MVP because he did win the Fighter of the Year several years back.
And he has that one big year. You know, he's going to get you 26 homers and 90 RBIs every year.
These, you know, and the contrast in styles, not only the youth and the age, but what goes along with that. Johnson always talks about how it's a job. He's a professional. And Tavoris Cloud talks, it's more than a job. It's passion. It's about wanting to go to war.
Good stiff jab there from Cloud. Snap back the head of Johnson. Cuffing right from Cloud. Caught most of Johnson's glove. Little combination and a chopping right from Glen Johnson.
And aside from the obvious effect that the right hand can have on Cloud, it looks like his eye is starting to, I don't know, the beginnings of a swollen left eye.
Headbutt.
August 11th, it's the premiere of Hard Knocks training camp with the New York Jets. Go behind the scenes for 5 weeks of training camp with Rex Ryan's Jets as they prepare for the NFL season. On August 17th, catch the next installment of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. Among the stories, a fascinating profile of Washington's newest power couple, the Salahis, the alleged White House crashers, who also organize an annual charity polo event.
Pick it up at the end of the round just in case. They're looking to give somebody an early Christmas. Good work, baby. All right, champ, you got this. You got this. Stay on him, baby. Stay on him.
Oh, here, take it down.
Round number 4 begins. In the last round, Glen Johnson threw 62 jabs. Cloud only threw 51 punches in the whole round.
This is living up to that early 1980s network light heavyweight tradition. Back then, the division was stacked, and those guys were battling it out every weekend on TV, it seemed. And so far, this fight is doing justice to that light heavyweight legacy.
Johnson keeps pumping out that jab, and even though it's not landing, what it's doing is it's stopping the offensive Cloud.
And it's landing. It's doing both. Even when it's not, it still has an effect, but some of those are getting through. And as you would expect with a savvy veteran against an enthusiastic young fighter, it seems like Cloud expends more energy than Johnson to get the same result.
That's youth. This all plays into Johnson's hands, sort of these languishing moments on the inside where then Johnson can do his work. You know, in the win against Clinton Woods, Cloud was averaging 97 punches thrown per round. It's well below that because Johnson's busier and keeping him on the defensive.
And he is also landing good shots, Cloud. What I love about this round so far, it's sort of a quiet round. They're both landing good, crisp, hard punches on the inside, and they don't stop.
Kick, don't punch, step, step, step.
See Cloud trying to get a little distance to get some snap on that right hand from the outside.
Trying to set up that counter right hand, then he thumped again.
You see he has some success when he can throw the punches from his preferred range, but then Johnson takes that range away.
But in what was, as you said, a quiet round here in the last minute, it's Cloud that's had the way with it.
Yeah, and the work that Johnson was doing was less obvious early on than the big kind of more looping punches from the outside that Cloud just landed.
End of round number 4. Coming up, our main event, 23 years of age. The great Devin Alexander puts his two 140-pound belts on the line in his hometown of St. Louis, 20-0 with 13 knockouts. He'll be squaring off against a man who once held one of those belts, Andrei Kotelnik of the Ukraine, 31-3. 13 knockouts, coming off a loss last summer in England to Amir Khan. It's Alexander Kotelnik in our main event here on Boxing After Dark.
Come on. Give me the inswell.
Good job, champ. Work
Let's
hard.
go.
Work hard, baby. Work hard.
You see the Jersey Joe when you walked off? Yeah. Come back with a hook after that right hand. Give me some Vaseline.
Hey, 3-4 minutes. Work me to 3 minutes. All right, put him on that world-class jab and dig to the body.
Round number 5 underway, scheduled for 12.
You got to clear, corner. You got to clear. Come on, come on.
Steve Smoger getting the Johnson corner organized. Johnson in the white. Tiger strikes for Tavoris Cloud. Currently holds a belt at 175 pounds. Johnson trying to take it from him.
Heard Cloud's corner mentioning, give him the Jersey Joe. Great heavyweight champion Jersey Joe Walcott had these cute moves. He'd walk away, look as though he's walking away from a fighter, and then throw a left hook or a sneaky right hand. But so far, Cloud doesn't seem very Jersey Joe and tricky to me. He seems more Matthew Saad Muhammad.
Yeah.
And he's fighting Marvin Johnson here. Those are two of the action brawlers from the early 80s in this division.
Johnson works that jab. Limiting Cloud to just one counter. Good counter left by Cloud.
On the line here for Cloud is a potential big fight in the light heavyweight division with the winner of Chad Dawson and Jean Pascal next week here on HBO. If Dawson wins, and he's favored to, although it's a tough fight, Cloud becomes the obvious opponent for Dawson, the division kingpin, should he win tonight.
Cloud with multiple lefts, some of them blocked by Johnson. Johnson has not been able to find the same kind of space that he had back in round 2.
Exactly right, Bob. And therefore, those little lefts and rights he's digging are not landing with any impact.
Oh, right hand and a left hurt Johnson.
And he's hurt.
He is hurt. He's on shaky legs.
And Cloud goes right to the body with a left hand. Very good idea.
Glen Johnson in trouble. Half minute to go here in the round. Johnson's only been stopped once. Did Cloud make it twice?
And that was before Glen Johnson was really Glen Johnson. He was fighting in a lighter weight division. He was facing Bernard Hopkins, the great Bernard Hopkins, and he wasn't ready for that fight.
Counter right hand from Cloud. Hurt Johnson again. The 41-year-old Johnson hanging on here at the end of round 5.
Since Johnson became a top fighter, he's never been knocked out.
And he makes the bell.
Okay. All right, let's go. All right, give me this pin button quick. Nothing. Okay, how do you feel? How do you feel? You feel good? Yeah. All right, look, see, lean back, lean back. All right. I got the water. All right, listen, I need you to recover. This guy's shot. You got him with a good shot. He's hurt. Just go back to work. You got to go back to work. As long as you're doing it.
Now listen to me. You keep working him. Working him. Step to your right. When he's leaning, step to your right and hit him in the ear. I told you. Just let him come. Push his luck.
Here we see how Cloud got Johnson into trouble. He misses the right hand and then lands a left hook, looks high off the temple. Those are the two areas on a fighter that really get him in trouble, are the chin, obviously, but also on the temple, and that's what it looked like hurt Glen Johnson.
And then that left.
And even before that, it looked like Johnson, you mentioned the distance, but not only the distance, it looked like he was running out of steam with those little shots on the inside. He didn't really seem to be throwing anything with any snap.
According to CompuBox, Cloud landed 23 of 37 of his power shots, 62%, and he starts ripping them to start round 6.
He's punishing Johnson now.
Al Papa, Max Keller, Harold Letterman ringside in St. Louis. Tavoris Cloud defending his 175-pound title against the veteran Glen Johnson. Pouring it on here in round 6.
Johnson just trying to weather the storm. And Cloud, he's smart to follow up his advantage. Would be wise to go to the body here because Johnson's hope is Cloud keeps headhunting. He picks off those shots with his high guard, and Cloud punches himself out a little. That's Johnson's best chance. Johnson may be long in the tooth, but this is not a 41-year-old who's lost his taste for fighting. He's not packing it in. He's pressing the action.
They chopped another one of those right hands to the left side of Cloud's head, and now Cloud has slowed down and in a bit of a cloud as Johnson turns on the power.
How you get to fight of the years is when you have two fighters with so much pride that they don't take losing, they don't entertain the idea of losing so long as they can function, and that's what we're seeing so far here tonight.
It's interesting that you make that analogy when you're talking about a guy who's lost 13 times. But Johnson doesn't fit that profile.
A lot of those losses early, and the later losses were to quality fighters in tough fights. On points, incidentally.
Johnson, after Cloud had the edge in the first part, first minute, the second minute, it was Johnson's. Cloud has only thrown 4 jabs in this round according to CompuBox. And now he pumps out 2. Johnson's thrown 22. And what looked like dire straits for Glen Johnson, he has turned around the last 2 minutes of this round.
Cloud comes back with those right hands. Tremendous round.
Glen Johnson says, give it to me.
All right, go work. Give me the bucket. Let's go. Good work.
Plenty of water on his face, Orlando, don't worry.
All right, sit back, relax. Catch your breath. We got a minute. Nice and relax. All right, listen, champ. I know what you're doing, but you got to watch the ref, all right? You can't let this guy get off so many shots. I keep telling you, smother him. Don't let him get off so many shots.
Let's take a look at the punch zone stats, and we'll do both of them. Punches landed on Cloud to the left, Johnson to the right. Johnson, in his fight, has landed 138 punches. He's worked the body, as you can see. He's had an opportunity landing 47 to the body. Cloud has not gone to Johnson's body as much, landing 26. Cloud has landed 49% of his power shots, 102 of 210. Johnson 35%, 74 of 214. Johnson, though, has thrown 230 jabs to 149 for Cloud. We begin round number 7. Let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Thank you, Bob. I've got a 3 rounds apiece, 57-57, all even. I thought Glen Johnson did a nice job in round 6, coming back with those left jabs. Tavoris Cloud slowed down a bit, and Glen Johnson won the 6th round to put him even in this fight. Tavoris Cloud, 2 tremendous rounds, rounds 4 and 5. He staggered Glen Johnson in the 5th round like we saw. And Bob, have you noticed that they lean on each other? It's like a rugby match. It's like a scrum. They'll lean on each other, and Glen Johnson will win these exchanges by shoving Tavoris Cloud back and making him back up. Anyway, 3 rounds apiece, 57-57.
Remember, on our unofficial ringside scales, Johnson rehydrated up to 192, put 19 pounds on overnight.
It's going to be interesting to see what Johnson's conditioning is. We always see it hold up in the past well, but he does look a little bit soft by his standards.
But he's a hard man.
A hard man. You know, this crowd isn't very passionate about this fight. Neither guy is from St. Louis. They're waiting on the main event with a real star in boxing, Devin Alexander, the hometown guy. But it is a tough fight.
It's a good fight, too.
A real good fight.
Time Cloud used the jab and then shot the right hand. Got Johnson off balance. Johnson realized he went low there, apologized. Chops a right hand to the chin of Cloud. There's a right and then a left, scored by Johnson.
Doing that combination in reverse, straight right hand, then the left jab.
Very good, very good.
Veteran tricks.
Cloud was looking to end it with that left. Went behind the head of Johnson.
See Cloud thinking in there, thinking to himself, let me use advantages I have like reach and get some leverage from the outside and do the right thing here, but that's not him. He's a fighter. He wants the toe-to-toe action. And ultimately, I don't know how much it helps him to try to do the right thing because
Bell's coming.
it's not who he is.
There's the bell to end the 7th.
You're jabbing good, but put punches behind the jab. He's jabbing a falling over jab. He's a sucker for a right uppercut. Wait, he's a sucker for a right uppercut. Okay. All you got to do is catch the jab, come back with a left hook, catch the jab, come back with a double jab, combinate, you know?
All right, you're doing good work. Keep touching him up, because he don't know what you're going to do there. You know when he comes down? When you stop punching. Just keep touching him up. We should be good. Don't forget to tax that body. Champ. 3 minutes and then you come back, all right? You're doing good.
All right, right hand on the ear, okay? And push him when you're inside. Don't lay with him. He's dead. Believe me when I tell you he's dead. You're alive. Let's go.
Well, Cloud's punch output from the last round would differ from what Al Banani would think, his trainer. I mean, he only threw 8 power shots in the round, landed 11 of 45 total. Johnson threw 53 jabs in the last round. We start the 8th.
Johnson doesn't look like he's in the best shape. He's looked at times in this fight like he was out on his feet, like he was gassed and didn't have much energy left. And yet it's he who's busier with his hands and continues to fight through adversity when Cloud presents some for him. He's a real pro, Glen Johnson.
So you're like right there. All right, Cloud with his hand speed, right, and a little bit more spacing. He throws one jab, then he doesn't follow it up with anything. And then Johnson just resets and he throws a couple jabs, 3, 4 jabs, and then shoots a right hand.
Cloud wants to land the one big shot. You see him looking for it.
He hurt Johnson in the 5th. Had Johnson hurt at the start of the 6th. Good right hand there by Cloud.
That's what Cloud's looking for, the big punch.
Another right hand got through. Good hook to the body by Cloud, then a left. Johnson blocking some of it, not all of it. And Johnson chops a right hand right back. Another right hand. Let's see if Cloud works in that uppercut. But his corner said Johnson's leaning in with that jab. He's ripe for the uppercut.
You see Cloud at times just physically impose his youth on Johnson. There have been several moments during this fight, extended flurries by Cloud that have hurt Johnson and seem to have him in real trouble. But he's not quite skilled enough, Cloud, to really impose himself all the way on Johnson, and there was a similar pattern in the fight against Clinton Woods, which Cloud won on points.
But you know, Max, if Cloud does somehow, if he gets through this and as this goes on, this is a valuable experience he's going to take with him.
No question. Johnson looked like he was sucking air a little bit in the corner in between rounds.
Cloud waited and then fired that right hand. Good short right inside by Cloud.
You hear Johnson's corner yell, "Dig deep, Glen." They sense that Cloud's youth is starting to assert itself.
Good round for Tavoris Cloud.
You keep punishing like that, and you're the champ. You hear me? Hands down. Deep breath. This is easy, baby. We did 12 rounds in 115-degree heat. Let's go. He's out. Listen, don't push with him. You know what I mean by push? With your legs?
Yeah.
Either push him up and hit him with the right hand, or push him to the side.
He took this round. Okay. Glenn, we got to go to work and stop this guy. What round is it? Look, it's the 9th round.
9th round.
Okay. All right, baby, you got to go. We can't let this slide by us. All right, you got to work this guy. You're taking too many breaks and you're holding too much. Put the jab on him and go to work. Okay. Remember, touch him up. You don't have to hit him with hard shots until you see the opening. But I need you to work the...
When you're in here, don't push with him, slide with him. Right. Bring your hands up if you're against the rope.
Come on, Big Al.
Off to work goes Glen Johnson and Tavoris Cloud. Round number 9. The last round, 17 of the 21 connects for Cloud were power shots, according to CompuBox. And that was interesting, too, in the corner of Cloud where they said, listen, when he does that leaning against you, don't just comply with it. Push him off and throw a punch.
Well, they don't want it to turn into a situation where they're just leaning against each other and Glen doesn't have to work to make Cloud work.
Johnson landed a right hand. Cloud attempted to show him that it didn't hurt. A little less snap on those punches from Johnson than we saw earlier.
You heard Johnson's corner say, keep the hands moving. Even if you're just tapping him, wait till you see the opening and then throw the hard shot. He's 41 years old. Cloud just throws hard shots.
Because when he does keep his hands moving, you get less punches coming back from Cloud. There's a good right hand inside. Not a lot of zip behind it. Another one.
And if you can find the range and start to touch the guy with the softer shots, you can create openings or at least find out where those openings are to throw the harder shots. And that's exactly what Glen Johnson's doing right now.
At this point in the round, according to CompuBox, Johnson's thrown 33 more punches.
They're kind of punches. They really are. They're landing and they're doing something and they are slowing Cloud up. But he really is following his corner's advice very well and looking for the opening before throwing those high energy shots.
And it's causing Cloud to not punch.
Another baseball reference, Bob, but you know, a guy's pressing for a home run. Sometimes the best way to get out of it is just take that ball the other way. Nice and easy. That's what Johnson's done this round so far, although he hasn't yet followed it with anything hard at all.
But Cloud's just not doing much.
That's right. And where it was Johnson who looked like he needed a breather, it's Cloud that's taking one.
Well, it's interesting because Johnson's almost been able to take the round off, but be busy. And Cloud is
and win the round as he's taking it off.
I mean, it's over 100 punches. It's 100 punches thrown. There's nothing devastating, but Cloud's only thrown 36.
In a fight where Harold Letterman has it even constantly, a round like that can make the difference.
Coming up in our main event, Devin Alexander of St. Louis, undefeated, puts his two 140-pound belts on the line. One of the good guys of boxing. Just 23, loads of talent. Is he the best at 140? He says he is. Dynamite skills will be coming up in our main event tonight in his hometown of St. Louis, taking on Andrei Kotelnik of the Ukraine.
Wide open down the middle for that comeback right hand, son.
This is the 9th round. You understand? 9, 10, 11, and 12. Win these rounds.
Yeah.
Huh?
You had them out of you.
3 minutes, and then you come back, and we'll take care of you. 3 minutes, baby. Take over. Come on. Let's go out.
Tavoris Cloud didn't do a lot. Glen Johnson didn't have a lot of steam on his punches, but he threw 105 of them. Max 75 jabs thrown by Johnson in the last round. Let's check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 86, 85, 5 rounds to 4, Glen Johnson. You know, but in round 9, I mean, just Tavoris Cloud, as you said, just took the round off. Glen Johnson outboxed him in what's been a very, very close fight. My opinion is that this fight is going to be decided in the championship rounds. I mean, if Tavoris Cloud goes to work, there's no question. He's the harder puncher. He does more damage, but Glen Johnson just keeps constantly working. He won rounds 6 and 7. He won rounds 9. He's forced his way into a very slight lead, and this fight could go either way. 5-4, Glen Johnson.
It really is. I mean, it's such a close fight. Each guy has had some really special moments. Johnson's been the busier. Johnson got hurt in the 5th. Cloud was hurt back in the 2nd. Good double left hand from Cloud. Shoots it right to the ear of Johnson.
Well, the 9th is the last of the middle rounds. Now we're into the last rounds of the fight. Used to be 13, 14, 15 were the championship rounds. Now it's 10, 11, 12. And that's where we find ourselves in a very close fight that see now that they've entered that last stage, what they have left. Last round was the worst of the fight from a fan's point of view, and this round so far hasn't been much better. Cloud at least really digging hard shots here.
Yeah, nice right to the body, then a right up top. Short right by Cloud, snap back the head of Johnson. Good left hand to the body by Johnson. Another nice left hand inside by Johnson.
Don't punch, step.
Every time you think Cloud maybe is taking the play away from Glen Johnson, Johnson just doesn't let it happen.
The defense of Johnson looks like a cut over the left eye of Cloud.
Not in a good spot. Bleeding into the eye.
See how the less experienced of the two deals with that.
Bell's coming soon.
Pretty close round.
Now you got a little cut.
We'll be up.
You hear what the referee said? Punch. Here, deep breath. Another one on this nostril. Tavoris, when you get that range, why don't you throw them combinations, okay? All right, and if he tries to come back, just step to the side. He's falling over himself.
Championship rounds.
11.
Right hand.
What round?
Minutes, yes. All I need is 3 minutes. All right, good work. Put him back on the jab and keep touching that body. Do not stop punching. And when he punches, you punch with him. You got the chin, he doesn't. Every time he punches with you, he gets hurt. All right.
Remember that? All right, let's go. On your toes, Duran. Let's go. We need these 2 rounds.
Jab and keep touching him up, Glenn.
3 minutes, Glenn. 3 minutes, and we got a minute rest.
Checked with referee Steve Smoger in between the rounds. He said that cut over the left eye of Cloud was from a punch.
Albinani in Tavoris Cloud's corner said something really interesting just now in between the rounds. He said, "You have the chin, he doesn't. Whenever he punches with you, you get hurt." It's an interesting and dangerous strategy to adopt. To just punch with the guy because you believe if you get caught in an exchange, it's okay because you can take it and he can't. Because Glen Johnson takes it pretty good, and he gives it pretty good too.
Feet got tied up there. Johnson was off balance. Counter right from Johnson. Cloud comes back with a combination of his own.
Cloud's corner wants to turn it into a test of chins in the last 2 rounds.
It's funny, we were talking with Glen Johnson about at 41 and all these battles he's been in and all these tough fights, and he talked about his defense and how he turns and turns away from punches and blocks a lot. He's also been hit a lot here tonight.
Well, I mean, he's an aggressive fighter, and he's usually in punching range and moving his hands and coming forward. But for a guy who has that kind of style and isn't exceptionally talented, he is pretty good defensively given those circumstances.
Cloud opening up with that left hand.
Really starting to do some damage.
That's it, push him off.
Good job by Cloud. Did not allow Johnson to hold him. He fought out of the clinch. Nice move by Cloud.
Johnson once again taking some real punishment.
Good left hook to the body by Cloud. Final 30 seconds of the 11th. Advantage Cloud.
Great work, Glen. I need you to come right back.
In the middle part of this round, Cloud was being held. And he didn't allow himself to be held.
Back. Bell.
End of 11.
The old man is going to try to come with everything he has. You understand? Let me have that sponge. Here, watch his head. All right. I can't. Get your hand down.
Last one, big Al.
All right.
All right, baby.
Look,
You got it.
this is your fight. Come on. You win this round.
Last one, touch him in the center.
Okay.
3 minutes.
All right, champ, you got to go after this guy, and you got to try and knock him out. We're not going to get a decision, Glenn. You know what time it is, right? Let it all hang out, baby.
You got to win this one.
Deep breath again.
We got it.
Throw
We
that,
got it.
throw that hook to the body here. Won't hurt. Okay, come back with it. Double that right hand. You're doing right. When he start,
Offense and defense, son. You're going to come after him right now.
Go after him and knock him out, Glenn.
Let's go, get out, get out.
12th and final round. Cloud's 175-pound belt
bless you
on the
both,
line
baby.
against
God
Glen
bless you
Johnson. We check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 6 rounds to 5, 105, 104, Tavoris Cloud. You know, Bob, in rounds 10 and 11, Tavoris Cloud moved his hands, did some real damage, and Glen Johnson started to slow up. He just wasn't the same guy that he was in the early rounds. I thought he threw a lot less left jabs. Tavoris Cloud, on the other hand, really picked up the pace after an absolutely horrendous 9th round that Johnson won, and I think Tavoris Cloud has pulled into the lead in this fight. And let's give credit to former Roy Jones matchmaker Jimmy Waldrop working on a cut in Tavoris Cloud's corner. Tavoris is not bleeding anymore, and it's helping him a lot. 6-5, Tavoris Cloud.
While Harold was telling us his score just then, Glen Johnson landed a nice straight right hand.
Set up by his jab. Double left hook.
It hasn't been a fight of the year so far, but it's been a pretty damn good fight.
Yeah, there were a couple rounds in there that had you thinking maybe.
Go, guys. That's good. Very good. Very good.
Johnson with a combination, then a right hand to the body, backs up Cloud.
On Harold's scorecard, if Johnson wins this round, he gets a draw.
I agree.
It has been that kind of fight. They've traded rounds.
Cloud would keep his belt on a draw.
Johnson's had a long career of consistently being on the short end of close decisions.
Right hand thumped off the head of Johnson. Cloud.
Called the road warrior because he's always the guy on the road. You know, maybe not getting the benefit of the doubt in close fights.
Now Cloud opens up. Left hand was blocked. Johnson tries to counter right. Just a punishing fight for both.
A little bit to go. A little bit to go.
Final half minute.
Quick.
Good left hand counter shot from Cloud. After Johnson stepped in with a power shot.
Beautiful. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Maybe a little too much holding for Johnson at the end to pull that round.
Who would you rather have been in that last round, Max?
It's a tough one. Maybe Cloud because of the work towards the end.
Great job. Hey. Great job. You did. Champ of the world, baby. Huh? Bring it, bud. Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Glen Johnson and Tavoris Cloud finished. We take a look at the judges. Not familiar judges. Fran Beckton out of Iowa, no title fights. Dawson's decision over Harding for Dawson.
I got him. All right.
Mike Fitzgerald from Wisconsin, 4 title fights. Had Woods' decision over Gonzalez. Had it for Woods, 116, 112. And Patrick Morley from Illinois, no notable fights on his resume. Tough fight, too, to score because of some of the tremendous inside work that was done in the course of this fight. Harold, how'd you see the final round?
I got it a draw. I thought Glen Johnson absolutely did enough to pull out that final round. Tavoris Cloud had a few moments where he landed the hardest shots, but basically it was Johnson. You know, Orlando Cuellar, his trainer, said to him at the end of round 11, you're not going to get a decision. You got to go out and knock him out. And I thought that's what Glen Johnson tried to do. He was busier. I thought he won the round. I got it a draw.
All right, Harold. I don't think you can argue that. Very close fight, some tough rounds to score during the course of the action. We're waiting for the judges' scorecards to be tallied, and they are, and Michael Buffer holds a decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 grueling light heavyweight championship rounds, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges, Patrick Morley, Mike Fitzgerald, and Fran Beckton, scored the bout 116 to 112, all to the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated and still IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, Tavoris Thunder Cloud.
A little bit of a surprise, 116, 112 across the board in what seemed to be many kind of succinct rounds as to who won the individual rounds. We'll take a look at the final punch stats in the fight, and you can see that Glen Johnson was the busier of the two, throwing 201 more punches. He landed at 29%. He connected on 8 more over the balance of the fight. Cloud at 36%. Power punches, in favor of Cloud, who hurt Johnson in the 5th round, 167 of 373 for 45%. Johnson, 120 of 371 for 32%. Johnson did really his best work with the jab in this fight. As we take a look at the punch zone statistics, punches landed on Cloud. You see that jab worked as far as working to the head, to the left. The punches landed by Johnson. Cloud, though, landed the power shots predominantly to the head, did not go to the body nearly as much as Johnson did. But those big punches that rocked Johnson at different points clearly swayed the judges here tonight. Well, Tavoris Cloud improves to 21-0, and he keeps his 175-pound belt. He's with Max Kellerman.
Congratulations, Tavoris. Tough fight. Give me your impression.
First of all, I want to say all the glory go to God. Glen Johnson, that was a hell of a fight, man. You're a hell of a fight, old dude. Not old, but you know what I'm saying.
Thanks, Tavoris. You're a good fighter as well. But I believe I won the fight because I won more rounds than Tavoris. He swing a lot of big shots in my defense and stuff. And, you know, the judges, I guess they're looking for anything to give it to him. And they gave him those punches.
Glen Johnson has been on the short end of a lot of tough fights and close decisions. This was a close fight. What are your impressions?
I believe you did throw more punches than I did at times, but I had the most effective punches. I hurt you worse than you ever been hurt. The whole world seen it, Glenn.
It did seem that
didn't win the fight.
It did seem that he did have you hurt, which is something we're not used to seeing, Glenn. Were you hurt in this fight?
Yeah, he threw a punch over there and caught me off guard. I was stunned a little bit, but more I was off balance. A lot of times I throw punches and I throw myself off balance when I miss. And he threw an overhand right and caught me and stung me a little bit. But I was not hurt in any way where he was able to come in and throw more combination and land it. I was hurt because I was off balance, and when I put my back leg back, he slid out from me because I didn't have control of it.
It's the same thing. You got hurt. If you wasn't on balance, you know that's your fault. That's your fault.
Okay, so Glenn, we get it. It was a close fight, and as usual, you didn't get the decision in a close fight. Tavoris, you did. Tell us about the shifting momentum in this fight. It seemed at times like you had Glenn ready to go, at least from ringside, and then he would come right back. What were you thinking in those moments?
Well, I was looking for my shot to get him out. You know, if you notice in my past fights, I just go wild, but I was actually looking this fight, trying to pick my punches. But Glen Johnson, a slick fighter, he kept his defense up, and he was able to avoid getting knocked out, you know.
Okay, you got the win here.
Yeah.
The division kingpin is Chad Dawson.
Yeah.
Are you interested in fighting Chad Dawson anytime soon?
Most definitely, I'm interested in fighting Chad Dawson. You know, I was a little rushed in here tonight because of the layoff and my promotional problems and stuff like that. But now I got Don King. We can get the big fights. We can fight on a regular. I got Tallahassee and Quincy, Florida behind me. You know, can't nothing stop me.
I should say the winner of the Dawson-Pascal fight next week, because that's not a gimme. Congratulations, Tavoris Cloud. Glen Johnson, as usual, professional of performance. We appreciate it. Bob?
All right, thank you very much, Max. Well, it looked like they could have gone 12 more rounds as they did not agree on the final outcome, but Tavoris Cloud gets the unanimous decision victory and remains undefeated and keeps his 175-pound belt.